Hi, I'm JB Wagner and welcome to my channel Unconventional Wisdom, where I try to share some of the things I've learned over 50 years of taking pictures and doing photography. You don't have to like or subscribe because I'm not trying to make money, I'm just doing this for fun. This particular topic is, can you become a better photographer by shooting film? I grew up shooting film. Film was all I knew for a long, long time. It was actually hard for me to make the transition from film to digital, but I've done that, I think, successfully now. So film, why would you shoot film? First off, before you would shoot film, you have to have a way to get it developed. I'm very fortunate to have a lab at Allen's Camera in Orem, Utah that does color 35mm, black and white, and 120 film. So that helps me. I've also bought the chemicals to do black and white on my own, but I haven't done it yet. I did it back when I was much younger. But if you can't get your film developed and or scanned, if you need it, I have my own scanner, so I do my own scanning. If you can't get it developed, it's not going to help much to shoot some film. So that's step one, is to make sure you can get it developed. Now, what's the entry cost of getting a film camera? It's extremely low. I have another video on my channel called How to Buy a 35mm SLR for under $65, which is what I bought this beautiful Minolta for. So you can get a great film camera for under $100 easily. There's even good ones I bought for as low as $25. So buying the camera is not a barrier to entry. It's not the main cost. The cost, I mean, you shoot 2 rolls of film and you're into it, 2, 3, 4 rolls of film and you're into it with developing and scans as much as you were buying the camera. So that's not a problem. But then the costs do mount up when you shoot the film. So I shoot Kodak Color Plus for my color 35mm. I pay Adorama about $8.80 for a roll of 36 exposures. And that's about as low as the price gets. And then with the developing, even without scanning, but just with the developing, you end up into it about 50 cents a picture. If you get the scans, it's even more. That totally changes the way you shoot, for me. Because when I'm shooting digital, there is no cost during the shooting. Whereas when I'm shooting a film camera, every time I do that, it's 50 cents, $1, $1.50, $2. With this camera, it only takes 12 pictures and it costs the same. So it's more than well over $1 a picture. So that, if you can't handle that or stomach that, then you're not going to want to shoot film. But what that does is amazing, in that it forces you to think and to be creative and careful in a way that you aren't with digital, because you want to make every picture count. And so you tend to give it more careful consideration. Everything about the picture, you may slow down, you may be more deliberate, but it's a good skill to develop. I mean, think about all the times where you've shot all this digital stuff and 95% of it's junk that you either leave on a drive or you don't, or you spend all this time getting rid of it, and you have a couple pictures that turn out. Shooting film can give you the discipline because of the cost that you might otherwise lack. So that's actually, in my view, a good thing, the cost of film and the cost of development. Now, what are some other good reasons for shooting film? First off, when you buy your camera, even if you buy a camera like this with interchangeable lenses, just buy it with a standard lens and just use that one lens. Or potentially you buy a camera like this Yashica Electro 35 that has a fixed lens. So by doing this, by having just one lens, you further reduce your creative possibilities. There's still tons of creative possibility, but you reduce your options so that you're then forced to be creative in other ways. Now, another benefit of these cameras is you have to learn how to focus. And I love focusing a good vintage camera. and even a good now mirrorless camera with the right lens. If I had to choose personally between manual focus and autofocus, I'd go manual focus. That's just me. I like the experience, but I think it leads to discipline in composition and thoughtfulness in composition that you don't have with autofocus as much, to be honest. Then we have to talk about exposure. So you'll see all kinds of videos about the triangle, exposure triangle, which is ISO, aperture, shutter speed. Well, once you put this 200 speed film in the camera, you've just squished that triangle, flatlined it. After you've put it in, and that's fixed. So from then on, you're just using shutter speed and aperture. So again, you're further reducing the options and concentrating on mastering shutter speed and aperture without regard to ISO. Well, with regard, but not being able to change it. That creates more discipline that I think is very healthy. Now, I bought this Pentax Spotmatic at a camera shop in Virginia, knowing that the meter was broken. But I know what the Sunny 16 rule is. You can look it up. What's more important than the light that reflects off a subject is the amount of light hitting the subject. And back in the day, when there was all kinds of film, on the back of the film box or inside, there was a little paper that showed what aperture and shutter speed combinations worked under what intensity of light conditions. And you can find that, and you can write down on a little index card those combinations. So I took this camera right after I bought it and shot a roll of film of my granddaughter using the Sunny 16 rule. No meter, broken. And I got some great portraits of her because I could tell how much light without a light meter was actually hitting the subject based on this Sunny 16 rule. This camera doesn't have a meter at all. And you can, if you have a camera or end up with a camera where the meter either isn't in the camera or is broken, you can download a light meter app for your phone, and you can light meter, read, and then set the camera accordingly. Now both of these cameras, this is just as old as this pretty much, but this has a working meter. And so does this. This does aperture priority. This is only manual metering mode. But learning how light works more and how meters work better is another thing you can learn by shooting film with an older camera. So again, by having all these kind of, quote, limitations or reduced feature set, we'll say, the most important ones are still there, and you master those first. I'll draw an analogy. So I ride motorcycles a lot. I have all different kinds of motorcycles, and I'm an advanced dirt bike rider. When people ask me, they say, my son wants to learn how to ride a street bike. I tell them, you go learn to ride. He has to learn, if he's going to work with me, he has to learn to ride a dirt bike first at an intermediate level before he ever rides on the street. Why do I say that? Because learning a dirt bike and riding it successfully at that level is way more difficult than just getting on a street bike and taking off down the street. The skills you learn are so profound on the dirt bike riding experience, it makes you a way better street bike rider, way more disciplined, way safer. And all my friends agree who ride with me that that's the case. So to draw an analogy, I'm saying here, learn to do it the hard way, the expensive way, and the disciplined way, and you will achieve benefits once you get back to the fully featured digital universe. You'll be able to be a better photographer. It's fun shooting film. I mean, so what if you only shoot a couple rolls a year? If you can buy a camera for under $100, why not? And why not enjoy kind of a historical experience and know more about how photography worked in a different and kind of what is arguably, I hate to say it, a bygone era. So that's my take on an overview on benefits you can achieve by shooting film. I hope you like this video, and thank you for watching.